like I say, the triple expansion engines and everything else like that was my personal idea. We did much the same thing with the coal. We were really into recycling, as they say. Um, like I say, sometimes we even had wood, I believe, maybe. We could run on wood too, and we could create our own coke and stuff like that from the wood and stuff like that, using our engines and stuff like that. A lot of the other steamships and stuff like that, but also with the steam mostly. And it was my personal idea to run it through the piston engines, and then run it out the into the turbine. Yeah, that's right. I get it confused between turbine and you could run it. Well, you could run it through the triple expansion engines, or you could just shunt it directly through the turbine. And depending on which one was more efficient, but usually we would run three, two and three. They just basically both sides basically exited out the turbine, which needed a fair amount of flow for it to actually be able to rotate the impeller and stuff like that. And also the impeller spacing and everything else was basically my spacing. But of course, like I say, what we did is we used the model first. Like I said, we tested everything on a model, and then we would build the real thing. If it worked on the model, it'd work on the big one. So basically, yeah, that's why we built little models of everything first, like half scale or one third scale, and then if it worked there, then we would go ahead and try and build the big one and just scale up and stuff like that. And and of course, like I say, Germans, Irishmen, everybody working together and basically working thing. And like I say, the triple expansion engine or the turbine was my idea for getting a little extra energy out of the thing. And it was an experiment. I didn't know. Like a lot of people would be like, "I'm a genius," blah blah blah. It's like, well, I didn't exactly know. It was just a theory of mine that it would work, and that it could work, and that maybe we ought to try it. And then, like I said, we did the models first, and then we built the big one and stuff like that. So, and I am Lucifer Star. So, White Star Lines, Lucifer White Star Line. So anyway, I am king of the ship. I am leader of the ship, and like I said, the best, best, best. Even our third quality, third. Even our steerage crew people had, like I say, a lot of people would say they were third class people. It's like, well, we didn't exactly treat them like third class. Like everybody like our third, like the Titanic's third class and the Leviathan's third class was treated like first class on most other ships. I mean, it was just smaller cabins, but it wasn't like the big, huge estate rooms. Like the first class was like the estate sleepers and stuff. And like I said, before you left the docks, there was this little there was a store that everybody would walk by, and you could rent jewelry. You could also rent clothing and stuff like that, and you could live the life of a rich person. Like I said, that was another big thing. And of course, like I say, my white horses would bring people down in carriages to the ship and stuff like that. And I believe there was also a White Star Lines hotel that people would sleep in or stay in. If the ship was still out, they would come and they would stay in this hotel, and they could stay there until the ship came in. And with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 ships coming in every day, every couple of days, basically you didn't have to wait there long, and a ship would be along to pick you up and take you to your destination or destinations, as they say. Like I said, that there were basically just direct runs to destinations, and then of course there was of course the long way, which was basically where you would stop by 3 or 4 islands and basically take your time on your voyage to wherever you're going. So, and you would stop off, much like Carnival Cruise does today, basically. So it was my idea that maybe people would like to visit other areas before they get to their final destination. And so they could rent clothing and stuff like that. And of course, it was very expensive and all that other stuff. But, and maybe even a little bit of jewelry. Like I said, some of the jewelry was real, and some of the jewelry was, of course, just plated. So stuff that would look like it was high end stuff. But because, like I said, a lot of people ended up keeping the the items, so we couldn't exactly give them real gold, real everything. So Sometimes we just give them stuff that looked like it was real. So it's all complicated in all things, as basically some things went missing, of course. But, well, it was different back then, and I could lose a lot of stuff before I ever felt it. And, so and we always got it returned. Like I said, because I own most of the pawn shops, it's just basically like, well, it would show up in my pawn shop, so it would just basically get back to where it was, you know. So people would just return it. Like I said, because of White Star Lines and because of my popularity and because I was Lord and because I was so rich, well, it's not like we really got that mad at people that would walk off with some of the jewelry and items and clothing and stuff like that and not return it. It's like, well, we made so much from the rental and we made so much from the ship and we made so much from everything that, we could lose a lot before we could feel it. And besides, like I said, a lot of people didn't really have that much. So, so it's one nice dress or two or three nice dresses. It's like, so what? It's a memorable experience for people and stuff like that. So, like I said, I am the creator of 800 galaxies and the ruler of the planet Earth, or Lord of the planet Earth, basically, and pretty much owner of the LS Belfast shipyard and stuff like that. If I can't give people a good time and make people live the experience of being rich and whatever, it's basically just smiles and faces and basically, they'd create a new little one into this world, usually. So, usually it's just forehead kisses and hugs and snuggles and don't worry about it. So there are important things in life, and one dress and a necklace isn't all that important, or a few pieces of earrings. A lot of people are like, oh, it's like, don't worry about it. I love my people. And my people were proud and loved those ships and stuff like that. And, it's just a couple trinkets. And like I said, later on we were plating it, so it wasn't even all that real. So, they could go ahead and it's like, and go ahead and keep the earrings. Don't worry about it, because they're not real anymore. They're just, it's just trinkets that basically are included in the passage price. Like I said, to get on one of my ships and go first class was basically, well, it's almost as much as a house sometimes, so it's very expensive. So, people could say that they did the epic thing, and basically, they would have their earrings left over, and some of these people, they would cherish those earrings their whole entire life. Like I said, come to find out, how people felt about those dresses that they took from, like I said, they would rent the dresses and then they would go and take the passenger thing, and then they would sometimes walk off or keep the clothes or whatever. And it's like, don't worry about it. They would cherish and hold on to those to that dress their whole life. And sometimes even sell it to one of the museums or whatever else like that. And it's like, it's okay. I can afford it. So I wasn't too worried about it. It's different when a passenger, when I give someone a once in a lifetime experience, and then they go home with it, and someone is just taking it, and stuff like that. So I wasn't really worried about that. And most people turn the clothing back in and turn the dresses back in, or the earrings back in. So it's plated. So it's like, so I didn't mind that. So anyway, basically we just included it in the cost of the ticket. So whatever. Anyway, so yeah, but a wonderful experience for everyone. So, and I got to be Lusifer Star. Anyway, yeah. So epic existence.